You can take the guest room or move out. Dad said when my brother suddenly moved in with his wife. Better if you're gone by tomorrow, my brother added cheerfully. I moved out. A week later, panic set in. She's lying? Mom, tell me she's lying, my brother screamed. I didn't expect gratitude, but I certainly didn't expect to be treated like trash. For 3 years, I lived in my childhood home, quietly keeping my parents afloat. Dad lost his job, mom's bills piled up, and they were drowning in debt, so I moved back. I took over the mortgage, utilities, and groceries without mentioning their financial ruin to anyone, especially not to my older brother, Mark. Mark was the golden child who married a high society girl named Chloe. They lived lavishly in the city, posting about expensive vacations, but their reckless lifestyle caught up with them, and they showed up with suitcases. You can take the guest room or move out, Dad said, not looking at me. I stared at him, stunned. Mark stood next to him with a smug, punchable grin. Chloe needs the master bedroom, Mark explained casually, like I hadn't slept there for years. She has clothes. And honestly, it's better if you're gone by tomorrow. We need the space. Mom wouldn't even look at me, staring at her shoes, refusing to defend the son funding her survival. Dad, I said slowly, are you entirely serious right now? Mark is family, Dad replied stiffly. He's going through a transition. You're single. You can figure it out. I looked at Mark, vibrating with entitlement. He thought he was moving into a paid-off sanctuary to live, rent-free while his parents catered to him. I could have laid out the damning financial documents right there. But seeing my parents willingly sacrifice me for their golden boy, something snapped. It went ice cold. Okay, I said evenly. I'll be out tonight. I packed everything in 2 hours. I didn't argue or cry. I left my keys on the counter. Mark patted my shoulder patronizingly as I walked out with my boxes. Don't worry, little bro, he chuckled. We'll invite you over for dinner sometime. Sure, Mark, I replied. Enjoy the house. The next morning, I drove straight to the bank. I removed my name from the joint account I shared with my parents. I canceled the electricity, water, and internet effective Friday. Then I called the mortgage company. Since the house was in my parents' names, I simply informed them I would no longer be making the payments. The account was already 2 months behind because I had prioritized mom's medical treatments. Without my paycheck covering the deficit, the house would go into aggressive foreclosure within 30 days. I rented a quiet apartment across town and put my phone on silent. A full week passed in blissful peace. Then, the frantic voicemails finally started rolling in. I ignored them all, but the drama unfolded exactly as I knew it would, relayed to me by an ecstatic aunt who lived for the family gossip. The power was abruptly shut off on a Thursday afternoon. Mark tried to scream at the utility company over the phone, only to be told the bill hadn't been paid by the account holder, which was me. When he demanded that mom and dad pay it to restore the lights, the ugly truth finally spilled out into the open. The bank accounts were utterly empty. The massive mortgage was thousands of dollars in arrears. There was no secret retirement fund. There was no hidden family wealth. My parents were completely, hopelessly broke, and now so was Mark. The glorious climax happened on a Friday morning. I finally answered a desperate call from my mother. She was sobbing hysterically into the receiver, but I could clearly hear everything chaotic happening in the background. Chloe, Mark's status-obsessed wife, was screaming at the top of her lungs. She had only married Mark for his family's supposed money and properties. When the lights went out and the official foreclosure notice arrived, she realized the entire thing was a massive illusion. I'm divorcing you right now! Chloe shrieked violently in the background. You're all broke! You lied to me! Then came Mark's voice, cracking with pure, unadulterated panic and profound devastation. She's lying? Mom, tell me she's lying! Mark screamed, sounding like a terrified child. Tell me we aren't losing the house! Mom wept bitterly into the phone, desperately begging me to come back, begging me to fix the broken mess. I can't, I said calmly, feeling a deep, settling peace. I don't live there anymore. You told me to figure it out, Dad. I hung up the phone and blocked their numbers. Sometimes the most brutal revenge isn't doing anything malicious. It's simply letting your enemies try to survive without you.